All right, today I'm going to share with you about elbows. Some of you who have been following along for a while would have seen that way back I used to talk a lot about what the emotions were behind different body parts and different injuries and issues, but I have kind of moved away from that a little bit more recently because as I've progressed and evolved with this work, I realize how many other avenues you can really go down. So I want you to just take this with a grain of salt when I talk about the emotions behind elbow issues. And if I just dive into a little bit more about the other things that can play a part in why you have physical manifestations of issues, it can be that it is purely a physical issue that you might actually need to go and get something done about. You might actually need to go and have surgery because it's that far gone and you need some intervention. It can be that it is an emotional issue. Now, this is a big focus of my work, and an emotional issue is usually when you've tried everything else and all the things that should work don't work, then you can go into, well, what are the emotions behind this? The other thing to consider is I do get into energetics, but it's deciphering whether or not this is a human problem or an energetic problem. So people often think of like, well, it's the universe that's trying to tell me what's going on, and in some cases it can be, but it's important not to bypass what is actually potentially a human issue where you need to take some human action around. And then I do teach about chakras and doshas, and I integrate that into my work. It's then going, okay, well, is this a chakra imbalance or is it a dosha imbalance? So when I talk about these mind-body connection issues and the emotions behind your physical ailments, your mental imbalances or your behavioural dysfunctions, it's important to just use your mind and also feel into your body. Is this a physical problem? Is it emotional? Is it a combination? Is it a chakra imbalance, a dosha imbalance? Is this an energetic issue? Or is it a human problem? So if I dive into the elbows, there are a few physical areas in the body that do strongly communicate underlying emotions. So the elbows are a secondary area for your solar plexus, and your solar plexus governs emotions around identity, trust, self-esteem, confidence, self-expression, power, authority, and ego. And the solar plexus and all of this about identity and expression is usually one of the really common areas that people get blocked. They kind of know their path that they want to go on. They know the job that they want to get into, the work they want to get into. They're aware of the purpose that they want to step into, but then they hold themselves back because they really fear the demons of the solar plexus, which are shame, criticism, and judgment. So a lot of stuff that has happened in childhood, the words that people have said to us, the bullying that we might have experienced are all things that can impact how we show up in the present day. So the elbows, though, being a secondary area, if you've got issues with your elbows such as tennis elbow, just an irritable, sore, achy elbow, or maybe you've got things like an eczema patch on your elbow or psoriasis. So this is where it's not necessarily about the condition, it's more about the location, the condition. So anything to do with your elbows that are a little bit irritable, that you can't quite shift and you've done all the physical stuff around it, then we go into emotions. And the emotions around elbow issues is usually indecision or a lack of being able to be decisive. So you might have something that you know that's going on in your mind, but you just cannot make a solid decision on it. So the right and the left elbow also means something different. This is where you get more into energetics and masculine and feminine energetics. So if you've got an issue with your right elbow, it's usually around feeling like you're in Groundhog Day. It's the same thing over and over again, and you know that you're just so sick and tired of it. A job is usually the classic example that you just keep on going. It's the same old thing. It's really boring. It's not stimulating you. And you know that you desire something else. You want to step into something else, but perhaps you're really comfortable, especially financially in your job, and your new idea may not support your current lifestyle. But uncomfortable, discomfort in your right elbow, itching, tennis elbow, anything like that, aching, the random aching, which is never really random, is indicating that you know that something needs to change, but you're not making a decision around it. So just procrastinating, mulling over it. And quite often when we need to make decisions and resistance shows up, if we're making decisions based on how we want to live life, it's completely normal for resistance to show up and question it and mull over it over a period of time. So if you've got the physical stuff going on your right elbow and this resonates with you, then I really just encourage you to make a decision. Either you make a decision to stay where you are, especially if it is around that masculine energy in your career, or you make a decision to move out of it, and that is not always comfortable, but quite often if you move in the direction that serves you, then this is where I say the grass is greener, but you just got to get over that little hump of that discomfort. Now, if you have left elbow issues, same thing. So tendonitis issues, achy elbow, maybe you've got bursitis or you've got an itchy elbow, a rash, eczema, psoriasis, which is really common to come up on the elbows. This is still about identity and expression of yourself and making decisions, but usually around your feminine energy, which is about the expression of your intuition, your creativity, and your emotional expression. And there's a lot more to it, but those are sort of my 3 key ones for feminine that most people understand. So again, if you've got those left niggly elbow issues, it would be, okay, where are you maybe wanting to express your intuition, your creativity, your emotional expression, but you're questioning yourself? Because solar plexus, the demon of it, is usually the shame, the fear of the criticism and the judgment. So where are you holding yourself back from fully expressing yourself, making a change with perhaps how much of your feminine energy you do express or you do give attention to? Holding yourself back because you fear the criticism and the judgment. And so again, elbows, in summary, is all about governing emotions around the ability to make change and step forwards and express yourself. But if this doesn't resonate with you, then maybe you do have a physical problem where you actually just need to make a decision to go see a physical therapist and do something about it. We've talked a lot about emotions today. And then if you've got the skin type issues like the eczema or the psoriasis, this is where I would be thinking, do you have some sort of dosha imbalance? So Ayurvedic doshas is where we body type people, and each dosha, when it goes out of balance, will have a predisposition to show up some way and have medical predispositions as well. So usually it's the pitta that shows up with all the skin rashes, the eczema and the psoriasis and the acne and the pimples. And then I did talk a bit about chakras today. So chakras being the solar plexus. Is it a solar plexus imbalance where you're having difficulty showing up? And then I talked about energy and a human experience. So yes, there's a lot around energy when you get into this mind-body connection work. But as a human, do you actually need to just make some decisions? So I hope that helps you around the mind-body connection. And I will be dropping in here a little bit more regularly. I do have a webinar coming up on Thursday, the 16th of September, in about 10 days, I think it is, 12:30 p.m. New Zealand time. The link is in my bio. This is mainly catered towards health and wellness practitioners, coaches, anyone who's actively seeing clients who feels like they're missing something in their practice. They get this whole mind-body connection, but they just can't quite communicate it. I am running a free webinar to share my journey of how I moved from being an osteopath who trained in a number of modalities and then eventually brought in all of this mind-body work, and now where my focus is in the online space and helping people process their emotions that are showing up in their physical body or as mental imbalances or behavioural issues. So I'll share all about that journey, and I'll share about the tools and the techniques that I use. And if you are interested, then I'll be going into what my 10-week practitioner training looks like. It's the 4th time that I'll be running it. Every single time has been amazing. It's been open to conventional and alternative therapists, of course, with an open mind, because you need an open mind to soak this stuff up. And it's very much a full-on personal development journey that is quite intense over 10 weeks. So we uncover so much, change your practice, flip your practice on its head, shift you into the online space and support you with that if you want to as well. But you get to walk away with a technique that you can actually implement with your clients. So Thursday, the 16th of September, 12:30 p.m. New Zealand time, Wednesday for the States in Europe and Canada. I'm just going to be sharing a free webinar, so you can drop your email. The link is in my bio and you can register. You'll get the replay, but on the 16th, the course is going to open up, and we start on October 5th. So first of all, it's just register for the webinar, and I'd love to share with you, interact with you, and I always allow plenty of time for Q&A as well. And I hope to get a couple of previous practitioners from the last round to come on board and share how the training actually has impacted their life and their work with their clients. And what I shared today about elbows is just a very small part about what we do. So I hope you have a happy Monday. Take care, and I will see you soon.